Hi, this is Kyle Schwarber, and welcome to the Phillies Show.
Ruben Amaro Jr., Jim Salisbury, Todd Zolecki. It's the Phillies Show. It is Monday, December 8th, 2025. The winter meetings begin today, Jim. Ooh, favorite time of year. Yeah. I got here Sunday night. It was a bit of a bear getting down here, but you know, we're ready to rock and roll. The lobby is buzzing already. A lot of talk about Kyle Schwarber. I think we should start there, Jim.
Well, you already started there. He gave today's intro to the Phillies Show.
That's right. That's exactly right. Jim, are you getting pulverizing your shoe, your sneaker? Because the Pittsburgh Pirates, according to Fair Territories, Ken Rosenthal, have made a 4-year offer, almost certainly exceeding $100 million. You don't make a 4-year offer to Kyle Schwarber and not at least try to be serious with it. Are you getting your shoe ready, Jim? For those that missed it, Jim several weeks ago said that he would eat his shoe if Kyle Schwarber signed with the Pittsburgh Pirates.
So you mean, am I tenderizing and marinating my shoe?
Tenderizing. That's what I wanted to say.
Who pulverizes?
The word escaped me.
So it's right here. This will be the one.
How are we feeling about it, Jim?
I'm not prepping and I'm not marinating and I'm not seasoning and brining my shoe because I just don't expect it to happen. So the Pittsburgh Pirates made it, according to Ken Rosenthal, right?
Yes.
Made a 4-year offer. Not surprising. I think some of these teams that have received a lot of revenue sharing over the years are under some heat to spend some of that money because it could have impact on the next CBA. And, you know, hey, what better guy to pursue than Kyle Schwarber, a difference maker in the batter's box and in the clubhouse. He would help any team. But, you know, Kyle Schwarber wants to win and the Pirates aren't ready. I don't see that happening. You know, I think it behooves the Pirates to get that out there to show their fan base. At least we're trying. I think it behooves Schwarber's camp to get that out there that, hey, we have interest and there's interest in us. And there indeed is. There's interest beyond Pittsburgh and some big market teams, including Boston, the Mets. But the team with the most interest to me remains the Phillies. And, you know, when I hear the Pittsburgh Pirates made a 4-year offer, my first reaction is, okay, do we think the Phillies haven't made an offer? Do we think the Phillies probably haven't made a 4-year offer? Of course, I'm sure they have. Things are just a little tighter to the vest. I'm still going to stick by what I've said all along. I think the guy's going to get a 5-year deal, and I think it's going to be right here in Philadelphia. And I feel like we're reaching the home stretch. So that's kind of where I stand on Kyle Schwarber.
Yeah, this week, next week, I could see this thing wrapping up. I think John Middleton is going to make sure that Kyle Schwarber comes back, and if it has to get a little bit uncomfortable from the Phillies' point of view, if it means getting Kyle Schwarber back or not, then I think they will do what they need to do to get him back. I mean, John has been very public about it. The Phillies have been public about it, about wanting to get Kyle Schwarber back in a Phillies uniform. You know, again, like think about it this way, Jim. Say the Phillies are like, we're not budging off of 4. I'm just going to make up a number, 110, what they would consider to be a low ball offer. Is he really going to sign with the Pittsburgh Pirates, who have no history of spending? Is he going to go to the Cincinnati Reds, who really have no history of spending? Now, this Reds situation, which we talked a lot about last week, much better situation, in my opinion, than Pittsburgh. But I just don't see, like you said, Kyle Schwarber wants to win. He wants to go sign it with the team. He goes, I know every year my organization is going to do almost everything they can to try to win a World Series. If he signs with the Pirates or the Reds, I don't know he can
say that,
go to bed at night and say that and go, you know what, 3 years from now in my 4-year deal, 5-year deal, I know the Pirates and the Reds or some of these other smaller market teams are going to be doing everything they can to win a World Series. So that's, again, the combination of the Phillies' pockets, the history, John Middleton, what all those other teams can't offer, I still think he's going to come back to Philadelphia.
Me too. And when you mentioned John Middleton's name, I think, John, I think almost it's like an obsession to get him back. John is one of these guys who, when he sees something, he goes out and, he wants it. He used to tell me stories about when he was a high school and college wrestler, how hard the dieting was.
Yeah.
And, making weight and, subsisting on like one bite of hamburger every day for a week. This is a guy who is, steely-eyed and focused and serious and resolute. And I just think he wants to, in a good way, put Kyle Schwarber in a half Nelson and get him back here. So, I keep hearing like, and we've talked about it, and I have these fears, like I've articulated them here with you and Ruben, like they are getting older. They do need to get younger.
Right.
But my concern in terms of age doesn't as much apply to Schwarber as it does other corners of the roster, because he's not going to play defense. So his defense is not going to decline. You want him to have good at bats and swing the bat and produce. And I think he's an ascending hitter. I think he's continuing to get better. Yeah, the strikeouts can mount up like they do with power hitters, but he's still getting better as a hitter. And what he gives you is, to me, worth those strikeouts. And we've talked about this ad nauseum. We think that bat speed is going to hold up for 3, 4, or 5 more years, the length of that contract. So to me, with him, age, at least the way I feel, age is just kind of a number.
Right.
He's not going to help the average age come down, but there are other pockets of that roster where I'm more concerned about, hey, they're getting old than Kyle Schwarber. So I'm all for bringing him back. And like I said, I feel like it's going to happen. I feel like the owner wants it. I feel like the clubhouse wants it. I feel like the president of baseball operations wants it. And I feel like the fans want it. And John Middleton's always listened to his fan base. Kyle Schwarber helps put a lot of fannies in the seats. They're going to host the All-Star game this year, right?
Right.
How crappy is it going to be if Kyle Schwarber comes back to that All-Star game in another uniform?
Wearing a Pirates uniform, hitting
any other uniform,
right.
And by the way, wins the home run derby.
Right. Playing for the Red Sox or the Mets or any number of these teams.
And people might say, well, that's a really short-sighted argument. That's a dumb argument. It's really short-sighted, but I think he's going to help you over the span of 4 or 5 years. So it ain't. I'm just using that as a little anecdote.
I remember talking with Bryce Harper about Schwarber earlier this season. I think we were down in Tampa, and I was just talking about his free agency. And he's like, listen, to your point, Jim, he's going to DH. He's going to be the DH, so he's going to be able to stay healthier and fresher and productive,
right?
And like David Ortiz did, years and years and years.
Like David Ortiz, and you're not going to be saying, "Boy, Schwarber's really lost a step in left field."
Right. Yeah, like what are they going to do? Because they got to get Schwarber to left field. No, you're signing him to be the DH, and so you know what you need to do going forward. So, I still think all roads point back to not all roads. That was a slip of the tongue, Jim. All roads point back to Schwarber and Philadelphia. Hey, if you are watching us on YouTube, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. We appreciate all your support. It helps the show grow. And also, by the way, check out the philliesshowshop.com. Scan the QR code on your screen, or just go again to the philliesshowshop.com. And by the way, we have another sale going on. Enter the promo code HOLIDAY, HOLIDAY, Jim.
Happy
I don't know how
holiday.
you spell holiday, but that's how I spell holiday. But so check that out. We got a lot of cool stuff. I just got my official Philly Show mug in the mail the other day. So
you got a mug, another mug. You got 2 mugs now.
I had a coffee. Yeah, I had 2 Philly Show mugs now.
I want to get a hoodie.
Get a hoodie. I think I got one coming in the mail finally. So
I'm doubled up. I get the T-shirt, but I got the long sleeve T-shirt under.
Yeah, the hoodie looks good. I want to get the hoodie. Yeah, so as soon as I get it in the mail, I'll be wearing it on the show. I'll show you how it looks. Let you know. Give you a little scouting report. Okay, so Jim, let's winter meetings obviously beginning on Monday in Orlando. Yeah, JT Realmuto still a free agent. Harrison Bader, you hear his name kind of kicking up a lot because there's not a lot of like right-handed hitting outfielders out there. So both of those guys are still out there. Any thoughts on JT Bader? I saw something interesting the other day. I think it was somebody. Oh man, I apologize. Fangraphs, The Athletic, StatCast, but it was basically how Harrison Bader, if you look at his advanced metrics, was one of the really kind of like luckier hitters in all of Major League Baseball last year in terms of the hard hit rate, all that stuff. I think that's something that probably the Phillies and a lot of teams are looking at, but also there's like this desperation for a right-handed hitting outfielder, so it might not matter for Harrison Bader.
Yeah, I see he's seeking a 3-year deal. I don't blame him one bit. Coming off a good year. I mean, it was his first year in a couple of years with a positive OPS plus. But he had that really good run with the Phillies. But if I could do him on a 1-year deal, I'd love it. But I don't blame him looking for more than that. But if his market ends up as one and an option, and as the winter goes on, I think I might consider it. I might be more open to it. I mean, he's a consideration as it is.
Yeah.
He'd be a good fit. On that center field issue, we talked a lot about Byron Buxton, and now Minnesota's president of baseball ops says he plans to hang on to their stars. I guess that's Pablo Lopez, Joe Ryan, the 2 pitchers, and Buxton. So who knows? I think minds can still change. And if Minnesota starts shedding even more personnel, maybe Buxton will want to trade. I think he'd be an intriguing option for the Phillies, but he's going to cost you in what you have to give back in terms of prospects. But contract at $15 million over the next 3 years, 3 years and $45 million remaining, to me is not that difficult to swallow. So it's a name I'm keeping an eye on, along with Bader and others. It'll be interesting.
Yeah, just because the Twins have said publicly they want to keep their stars doesn't mean you can't still talk to them and try to finesse, work them over a little bit, like a punching bag, Yeah.
And teams say things for public consumption that they don't say behind closed doors. I was kind of thinking about this. Like if they don't, let's say they don't get Schwarber, right? Like, okay. Like what do the Phillies do creatively?
Yeah.
Something creative and out of the box. And when I think about that, I think a little bit about center field, because I do think if Schwarber were to go elsewhere, you're going to have budget to spend on the free agent market elsewhere. To me, that would equal Bo Bichette. And I would be, creatively attempting to get Bo Bichette, put him at second at 28 years old, getting younger, right?
Right.
Move Stott over to shortstop and go to Trey Turner and say, hey, can you solve our problem in center field for a long time? I mean, I think he'd take to it like a duck out of water, like a duck to water, because he's so athletic. I think he'd run down balls and he's got the arm. But, I don't think he wants to do it. I think they brought him in as a shortstop. I think they have an agreement. He's their shortstop. I don't think he wants to move. But boy, that would be a solution to some problems. Now you have a right-handed bat in Bichette, strikeouts, a lot fewer strikeouts than Schwarber. He's a terrific hitter, young. That would be to me a kind of creative, dynamic solution. But again, I feel like it's moot because I don't think Turner would move or is ready to move. When we talk about the inflexibility of this roster, we talk about some of their ages and you can't move people because of the no trade clauses, because of the big salaries. Well, his desire to stay shortstop is just another hurdle and another example of how they are inflexible in a lot of ways. And that makes things tough on Dave Dombrowski. You got any creative ideas?
Well, yeah, I mean, I think if you're going to lose a huge bat like Kyle Schwarber, and certainly that would be a blow to John Middleton, to Dave Dombrowski, to the fan base, to all those guys in the clubhouse. I mean, it's such a huge blow. But I think if that would happen, it would be such a it'd be so kind of demoralizing unless you go out and get another big bat. And so I think he's probably going to go back to New York, but I would go crazy and try to get Pete Alonso to put in that lineup and have him hit behind Bryce Harper.
I love it.
I love the idea of having him be the DH, and not even just a full-time DH, but you could obviously have Pete play some first base on some days and have Bryce take a few days off. I mean, like I said, we were talking to Bryce earlier this year about Schwarber. He's like, if he's playing DH, he's going to be able to stay fresher longer, and he's going to be. So maybe this allows you to like have a competent first baseman. I know he's not a great defender, Pete Alonso, but get Bryce off his feet a little bit more and do that. And he had this big bat. He's younger, so I would try to go in that. I just really think if you're going to lose Schwarber, I mean, I would love Bo Bichette. He'd probably be the guy I would love.
Good hitter. But
yeah,
I love Alonso. Your idea with Alonso as well as a plan B.
Yeah.
Because the power, because he plays all the time. He posts. I like the enthusiasm he plays with, like this. It's like he's a grinder, and he likes to play. And he's kind of one of those players that you kind of don't like if he's on the other team. But I think if he was in your clubhouse, you might end up loving him. So.
It's funny you mentioned that because I right before the All-Star break, I remember talking to Zach Wheeler about Pete Alonso, and and as you know, Zach is. Zach suffers no fools. We've talked about this. Zach suffered no fools. I said, what do you think about Pete? He's like, I like Pete. Pete's a good dude. He's a little goofy, but he's a good guy. So if Zach Wheeler, who is a former teammate of Pete Alonso, likes Pete Alonso, then I think, but you're right. He's one of those guys you're like, oh man, this guy looks like a total, you know what? But I
guess our point is
bombs in Philly. If he was hitting bombs in Philly, everybody would love it. He
would destroy Citizens Bank Park, much like a lot of other guys would. And, he would. I mean, if he's in the home run derby next year in a Phillies uniform, I'm fine with it. I think he's going to be in the home run derby. He's going to be in the home run derby in July in Citizens Bank Park in somebody's uniform. He loves the home run derby. I like a guy who loves the home run derby. I ain't gonna mess up my swing. I'm in it to win it. But totally. I think our point is the focus is Schwarber, even industry wide. I feel like when he comes off the board, things are going to start to move, right? Because he's DH, and other guys, Alonso can say, "Well, I'm not just a DH. I can play defense. I'm worth this." Blah blah blah. But there could be, and I think Schwarber's going to be back. I really do. But if there has to be life after Kyle Schwarber, I do think there are ways they can figure it out and still be get what they're looking for and be a good club. So,
and not that this is necessarily a concern, maybe from the front office point of view, but if you're worried about running it back, this would kind of like really open up all doors in a sense. Like now you don't have, if Schwarber goes elsewhere, now you can like just say hell with it and get as creative as you want to be. And really change the outlook of the roster and how things look. Jim, all right. So Sunday night there was a little news at the winter meetings. The Veterans Committee elected Jeff Kent into the Hall of Fame. He got 12 out of 14 votes, I think it was.
12 out of 16, I think.
Or 14 out of 16.
14. He was worthy selection in my eyes.
I mean, tremendous
hell of a hitter.
Hell
for a long time.
Unbelievable hitter.
Real grind. I liked watching him hit because he hit a lot of home runs. Most home runs ever for a second baseman. What he had of 300 and
I'm sorry,
377. But it never looked like he was trying to hit a home run. It looked like he always looked like he was trying to hit the ball hard somewhere. Yeah. And when he caught it right, it went out of the yard. But he was a good player for a long time. Grinder, real serious player.
Yeah.
Won an MVP. And,
yes.
Real good bat. I was disappointed for Don Mattingly. I was hoping for Don Mattingly. And I continue to scratch my head about Carlos Delgado, the numbers that guy put up. 2 MVPs for Dale Murphy. I would love to see that happen for him.
Dale Murphy as well.
It's tough though. I can only imagine the gut-wrenching night that was for those folks and the disappointment. I was really hoping for Mattingly.
Yeah, I feel like there was so much buzz getting around Dale Murphy, Don Mattingly. I mean, if I was those guys, I'd have been like, I think it might happen this year. It might happen this year. And so they got Dale Murphy and Don Mattingly each got 6 votes. I think he needed 12 to get in. Carlos Delgado got 9. And conversely, Barry Bonds, Roger Clemens, Gary Sheffield, and Fernando Valenzuela got 5 or fewer votes. And I tell you what, the writers were Roger Clemens and Barry Bonds ran out of time on the ballot, but I think they eventually, if they would go back on the ballot 10 years from now, they might get in. Mm-hmm. But that Hall of Fame committee, they've been really hard on those guys. And I'm Roger Clemens and Barry Bonds. I'm probably going, I'm never getting in, or I'm not going to be, I might as well just forget about this for another 20, 25 years. Cause this group just does not want us in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah. Well, and I think they'll be back on the ballot maybe in like 31. And if they don't maintain 5%, 5 votes at that point, they would drop off forever under some of these new rules. So, yeah, I mean, I think these committees, they speak loudly in terms of what the steroid era, essentially. And much like, but there is such it's really confusing because I look at the Hall of Fame and there's guys in there that benefited from that era. There's no doubt in my mind. Mm-hmm. And then, there's guys on the outside that are having a tough time cracking that. And I do think a lot of the existing Hall of Famers are dead set against some of the old school Hall of Famers, the guys that sit on that stage in Cooperstown every July, and they're against it. And I think one of the big fears is certain guys get in, you're going to have an empty stage.
Right. Yeah, that's a great point. That's a great point.
The Hall of Fame doesn't want that, and
you're great point. Going back to Jeff Kent real quick, what do you think? Does this help Chase Utley out? What do you think? Or does it hurt Chase Utley? How does it impact Chase and all his Hall of Fame chances?
I think Chase is helping himself. I think he's been on the ballot 2 years. He's already up to almost like 40%, 39 and change. And that's pretty good if you look at the history of the voting. Yeah. I think he's on a good path, but I certainly don't think this hurts him because, I know WAR is not the be all and end all, but it's a decent little snapshot into a guy's career, and he's ahead of Kent. Kent was a more productive overall hitter, average home runs, but he had a longer career than Chase, but mm-hmm. I think Chase is in really good shape and heading in a positive direction. When you look at, we've talked about his WAR over that, 04 to 14 or something, 05 to 14. He's like right in the top 2 or 3 with Albert Pujols and others. A-Rod.
Yeah.
So one of the top position players in the game. Where he, has it above Kent is Kent was a hitter. Chase, made himself a very good defender, as we know. Mm-hmm. We saw it. He was a grinder, a little mechanical on defense, but he was a very good defender. He got the job done. Yeah. So I think he has that on Kent. He's like the best base runner any of us ever saw. He has a World Series, iconic play in that World Series, 5 home runs in the next World Series, where Kent was just a steady hitting machine. And different players, but there are you can draw the some comparisons, and I certainly don't think this hurts Chase because he's viewed probably as an more of an overall quality player, where Kent was just a real quality hitter and a Hall of Famer. I think very deserving.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think Chase is going to get in, should get in. Probably won't happen this year, but he's definitely on the right trajectory. I'd like to see J-Roll get a few more votes and see his vote total jump out. Now his WAR is not as high as Chase's and some other players, but that's why WAR is not the end all be all, like you said. You watch J-Roll play, and gosh, I just
what a defender Jimmy was. It's just the ball was. I still marvel at looking at his error totals. Some year he made 6 errors, and he played 159 games, 6 errors. There's guys that make that in a month. You know,
we've seen it.
The way he could get the balls and the way he could, every throw was on the money, and he could put a little extra on it when he needed to, when the guy was really moving. Just a joy to watch those two guys play in the middle of the Phillies diamonds for all those years.
Absolutely. Well, Jim, I'm at the winter meetings. We're going to be coming to you with shows every day while we're here, the good Lord willing. If you're Jim, if you're at home, folks, if you're at home, I'll be behind the MLB Network studio, waving at the camera, trying to get on TV. So
photo bombs.
Yeah, doing some photo bombs. But
you should try to send a signal like that only the people who watch the Phillies show will know. Like in the Sting, do the Robert Redford in the Sting when they did that.
Do a little nose?
Yeah, like a little.
How about a little Carol Burnett ear pull? You
got to do that just for the Philly show viewers.
I'm going to do that.
What is it going to be? The Sting or the?
I'll do a little Sting, little nose.
All right. I'll be watching. I'll be looking for that.
Right. Hey Jim, I'll talk to you later.
All right, buddy. Smell you later.
The Philly Show is brought to you by the Foul Territory Network. Subscribe to The Philly Show on YouTube and wherever you get your podcasts.